I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Looks like we have everybody here. It's Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026. It's 10 a.m. here in Globe. I've asked Woody Klein to lead us in the pledge. And after that, Pastor Joe Ardo of the First Church of the Nazarene will lead us in our invocation. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Gracious and almighty God, we gather today in gratitude for the gift of community and the privilege of service. We lift Chairman Steve Christensen, Supervisor Tim Humphrey, and Supervisor Woody Kahn, asking you to grant them wisdom, clarity, and unity of purpose. Bless their deliberations with fairness, humility, and a vision for the common good. May every decision made here honor truth, protect the vulnerable, strengthen the bonds of our county and in every district. Guide each participant with patience and respect so that our work together may reflect integrity and hope. We entrust this meeting to your hands, seeking your peace and direction in all that we do. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. No whining in the back row, please. Okay, we have a full agenda today. Number 2, presentations. 2A, presentation on the update from United Fund of Globe Miami. And we have Maren.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Vice Chair. Good morning, Supervisor Klein. This morning we have Susan Guerrero, Community Relations and Social Media Director from United Fund of Globe Miami, here to present the United Fund Flood Relief Program wrap-up.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairman, Supervisors, and everybody. I'm glad to be here. So United Fund, as a nonprofit, typically functions to support other nonprofits in the area. September 26th, after we saw so much damage in Miami, we wanted to do a special fundraiser to help out those affected by the flooding. So we worked with the Salvation Army to establish the residential flood relief program. That's still ongoing. It's a little bit more of a long-term rebuilding. Over $300,000 has been distributed, and $800,000 is allotted for that program. So there's more information on the residential program at ufglobemiami.com/FAQ. We worked with another nonprofit called Local First Arizona to handle the business flood relief program. So that wrapped up around Christmas. I think it was around Christmas. Well, most of the disbursements happened around that time. The last of the disbursements happened toward the end of January. So the total for that program, $1,400,706 was distributed between 73 businesses in Globe Miami. So we've been extremely grateful for every donor and supporter of this effort, partners with City of Globe, Town of Miami, grateful for the support from Gila County as well, and also grateful to our board members of United Fund for their support. And that's all I have, if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions. Thank you very much for participating in this and being a part of it, and for doing the presentation to us on kind of how the money was distributed, so that the public kind of knows and is aware of what was going on. So.
Oh, I don't know if I mentioned all the specific donor information and the outcomes for the businesses and the business names is on our website also. That one is ufglobemiami.com/flood.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein.
Susan, thank you. You guys are, really, really good. Lot of help. So really appreciate all the work you've done on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. I was just looking through all the different places where the money went. You've helped dozens and dozens of people. That's really great, businesses and all. So thanks for the presentation.
Of course.
Right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next is item 2B, which is information discussion regarding the USDA rural development programs. We have Lori Urban with us.
Great. Thank you, Chairman and Supervisors. It's great to be here. So I just wanted to share with you about rural development for those of you who aren't aware. We act as a bank. We act as a bank to help economic development in our rural communities, to help those communities thrive. You will find that last year, USDA Rural Development obligated $5.5 million into Gila County, primarily on housing. We do not only direct loans, but we'll do guaranteed loans, subsidies for both single-family housing and multifamily housing. We also help communities with small businesses, with guaranteed loans and some direct loans. There are some grants, but we're primarily a bank. The 13th largest bank in the country is how we operate. But we do offer, open up a source of funding that's at lower interest rates and deferred payments to really help our businesses and our communities. One of the things that I was doing when I was here in Gila County yesterday and today was looking at some of the flood damage. And that USDA is operated a little bit differently in that I don't need FEMA designation, the declaration, to be able to step in and help with our emergency programs. I'm able to assist just with the governor's declaration. Although in the meantime, the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, has given a declaration also. So I'm able to help with some emergency funds that we're in the process of trying to obtain that will help with housing, somewhat with businesses, but definitely with housing, we'll be able to help. And we are looking at the, I know that there were some sewer lines that had major damage that I think that we can help with. So we're starting to research that. The other kind of important thing I think it is to note that our only mission is to help rural communities. And so if it's anything rural, come to me, unless it's animals, which is farm services or farmland. But rural development, we are all about trying to make towns and the counties prosper. I serve on behalf of the President and the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, to really push forward their initiatives of helping fund our businesses, our housing, and our community facilities. So community facilities could be, once again, the sewer lines that may need help. It could be a fire station. It could be, helping cities fund ambulances, helping schools with anything that's the building, the brick and mortar. So if any of those projects come up, feel free to call me. I'm happy to work with you. If I can't help you, I'm happy to coordinate with another agency that may be able to. So I look forward to any questions and really reach out to me in the future. We are here as a resource for you.
Thank you for
Thank you.
that. Yes, so Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, thank you very much. And with the sewer lines, yes, the city of Globe, I do believe, had some issues because a lot of their drainage are in the creek. Town of Miami may also as well. I probably do believe that TRSD, Tri-City Sanitation District, has been in contact with you.
Yes, so we do provide some of the funding resources for them.
Yes, I know, and I thank you very, very much, because that will really help our community in growth and blighted properties to be able to be redone, because they've got sewers that have cesspools that have failed and things
Well,
of that
and
nature.
we are able to help with some of the cesspools, turning them to septic tanks.
Yeah, you're helping
We have
us with
programs
that
for
as
that.
well.
We also have
Yes.
home repair programs, and depending on the income, whether they're low income or very low income residents, we do have some grants too for home repair.
Okay,
So, and we've requested some extra emergency funds for that we should hear back on in the next year.
well, thank
I'm
you.
sorry, next month.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for being here today, and thank you for my card. Because we're rural and we do have some people that do need some help, so.
I am rural.
Thank
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein?
Lori, thank you. It's good to have you back in Arizona.
Thank you.
It's good.
It's good to be home.
Good to see you, and had good, thanks for visiting with me this morning. It's a good visit. Appreciate everything you're doing and your willingness to help us out here, so
Great.
thank you so much.
And like I say, if there's questions, give me a ring. I'm happy to see if I can help. Okay?
Yeah, thank you, Lori. Thanks. Good to meet you. Can I ask you a question? So you have, these are low-interest loans. They're not grants. They're not.
We do have some grants.
Oh, you do? Okay.
We do have some grants, but we are primarily loans or guaranteed loans. So we do a combination of both. So if you're a business owner and you're having trouble working with a traditional bank, a lot of times we are able to go in and do a guarantee to kind of help the terms
Okay.
that bank will do. With housing, we'll do a lot of direct funding. There are communities in Arizona where we have provided direct funding to a lot of the new builds. I'm thinking of like San Luis. We do a lot in Somerton. We do a lot in different areas in Arizona. But we'll have guaranteed loans, direct loans. We offer subsidies to low and very low income people also for loans. And there are some grants, especially for home repair. When you get into like an area of very low income and elderly, that maybe need like a new air conditioner, a new roof. And of course, with the flood damage, there's going to be a lot of damage that costs that we can maybe help recoup for them.
Okay.
So it's a combination, grants, loans, and guaranteed loans.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for the presentation.
No worries. Thank you.
All right. And our next one is 2C, information discussion regarding the site location participation agreements for election drop boxes between the Gila County Recorder's Office and the following entities' jurisdictions. It's the town of Miami, town of Hayden, San Carlos Apache Tribe, Canyon Day Assembly of God Church, Tonto Basin Fire District, Young Public Library, town of Star Valley, and Pine Strawberry Fire District. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning. Good morning, supervisors. Thank you for the time today. There's not anything new going on with elections. No. Okay, so we have had some legislative changes you guys are aware of that have bumped up our primaries and shortened the time frames for everything, the jurisdictions, the candidate filings, and our primaries will now be held in July. And I was a little bit uncertain about drop boxes, so we're going to just focus on each election as it comes, because there's a lot of legislation both in the House and the Senate and on the federal level that may change the way that we vote and what voting looks like. For the primary election that is coming up, the drop boxes and the active early voting list will still come into play. However, the IGAs, as they were formerly known, have all expired in December of '24. So the ballot drop boxes are still on location in all of the previously approved sites with the exception of Pine Strawberry. Pine Strawberry Library elected to have that drop box removed. They were having some difficulty securing it for us on 7 p.m. at Election Day. But Pine Strawberry Fire Station, Station 41 there on Hardscrabble Road, has agreed to allow us to place the drop box there to service that community. So what I'm asking for today is, because of the accelerated time frame, Mr. Albo has helped. Actually, he did all of it. I can't take any credit. He drafted what we're not calling an IGA any longer, because some of our sites are private. They're not government. So we have an agreement to continue the use of drop boxes with the facilities where they currently are. But because of our accelerated time frame, I didn't want to get behind So I wanted to make you aware of what my office is doing, and then at a later time, once we have collected all of the signed agreements, I will get back on the agenda and come in and ask for your signature on those.
Okay, Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions, and thank you, and I'm sure with the constant changes, you're juggling on things, so.
It's fun, having a great time.
So thank you for being early and aware.
Thank you.
Supervisor Klein.
Wendy, thanks. You bet. We'll see those agreements pretty soon.
And Wendy, are these still going to have cameras and everything to where
Absolutely.
they're monitored?
Yes.
Okay. All right, yes. When this first came before us several years ago, I wasn't sure about it. It was a very hot, controversial topic, but I believe it's been proven to me quite well that these are needed, wanted, and are safe.
Yes, statistically, we have just under 40,000 registered voters in Gila County, and over 25,000 are on the active early voting list.
Yeah.
So there's definitely a need for these. This is the way that the people in our communities want to vote.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for that. On to our public hearing section, item 3A, information discussion to convene a public hearing pursuant to Arizona Revised Statute 11-391 for the purpose of gathering input on a proposal of the Board of Supervisors of Gila County to incur a long-term obligation not secured by the full faith and credit of such county. Good morning, Mayor, and again.
Good morning again, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, Supervisor Klein. We have Mark Reeder here from Stiefel to present and kick off our public hearing. So I will turn it over to Mark. He does have a handout for you all.
Okay.
And this is
Thank you.
pertaining to Gila County's
Thank you,
flood
Mark.
recovery efforts.
Thank you, Mayor, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Hello again. We were here a few weeks ago. Appreciate your time. Mark Reeder with Stiefel. We've been retained to assist the county, as you know, with the potential of issuing some kind of a revenue bond to help pay for potentially emergency services that you're in the middle of. All counties under a population of 500,000 are required to go through this process. We've been through this process with you before on prior transactions, but we're required to have a public hearing and go over the materials in the presentation. So I'll go over them very briefly.
Okay.
This will be somewhat of a repeat from our study session we had a few weeks ago, so I appreciate your patience. So under this 11-391, we're required to post and publish a notice of the hearing to incur long-term obligations in a newspaper. That's been done. We're required, as I mentioned, to hold a public hearing, which we're doing this morning. The public hearing must include analysis of the need for the project, emergency services, all the projects you're familiar with, the need to use long-term financing, and any other available options to accomplish the project. And then the board obviously can receive any oral or written comments. It has been posted on your website, and I'm not sure if there's been any commentary on that. I don't know if the clerk has received any commentary on that. Okay. All right, so we're following the rules here. We talked about this last time. You know, we're going to try to limit the amount of debt we're going to issue, right? I think we're in there for like 18 million now. Everybody's working really hard over the next really 45 days before we have to make that decision as to A, are we going to do it? And B, how much are we going to potentially issue? Okay? As you know, we have flexibility on this. Evaluate all the options. Ensure compliance with all the federal regulations allowing for the repayment. Another big policy issue with this board and staff and the community is pay this, if we do this, pay it off as soon as we can with grant money. That's all been applied for. Your staff has been working, and the board, and very hard on identifying those opportunities, as you know. So I'm sure they're keeping you up to speed on that, and we'll look forward to hearing more about that as well. If we do a transaction, we're gonna invest the bond money, get you some interest earnings while you spend it down. That's really important. Help us with 26, 27 budget. At the moment, we're gonna try to close this transaction in May. We're moving pretty fast. We gotta meet your timelines on the acceleration requirements of the federal money in terms of reimbursement. Award those construction contracts in a timely manner, maybe you've done some of that, and accelerate to the extent possible the completion of the project. So those are kind of all of our policy objectives. Again, these are for the public works projects we've talked about, related to emergency management infrastructure and the capital projects that I know Homero and staff have been keeping the board and the community up to speed on. So under the statute, they ask us to analyze all available options that counties have. And of course, these are it. We're not gonna go out and have a property tax bond. That's not in the cards. We're not gonna do a more expensive type of a financing called an annual appropriation, kind of a lease. We're limited in the amount of cash the county has, and so we're gonna go ahead and proceed with this traditional revenue bond structure that you're familiar with. We've worked with you in the past, and I'll share with you here in a moment. Okay? So again, here's our, when we do this, you know, Gila County, other counties around the state, they're gonna pledge 17 million of revenues from a variety of sources. That's good. And so let's go 17 million there. We shared with the board at our study session. At the moment, we're hoping this is downsized, but as I mentioned, we'll wait and see. We're somewhere around 18 million, 18.3. And you can see, you know, 2.3 million a year in debt service for 10 years if we don't pay it off. So obviously we're going to incorporate into any structure the ability to pay off. No premium is our goal. The cash comes in and we're paying debt off. So we're hoping that 2.267 number there, estimate, is extremely high, and we can go ahead and, you know, execute getting this thing paid off as that federal state money comes in. As far as our calendar, as I mentioned to you, we're having our public hearing. We're going to be submitting bids to various financial institutions. It'll be on the street here soon. We'll come back to the board on April 7th with a resolution which would delegate the authority to staff to work with all of us and be in a position to close the financing down below, you know, call it mid-May, and we'll go faster if we can. So I guess with that, I hope that wasn't too boring for you. Appreciate your patience on this. This is a public hearing, and glad to answer any questions of the board or of the community.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Reader. Supervisor Humphrey?
Yeah, I have no questions. You've pretty much answered all of those. But I thank you very much for being willing to help us and allow us to kind of have quite a bit of leeway on the loan that we get and how we pay you back and things of that nature. So thank you very much for helping us in the need that we have.
Thank you.
Supervisor Klein?
Mark, thank you for all the work you've done. See where it goes.
Okay. Appreciate those comments.
Page 7, so I get confused easily with a lot of numbers. So the 18 million is what we're looking at as a projected bond amount.
Right.
And then on line item 3, column 3, it totals at 31 million.
Yeah.
Okay. And what does that represent?
Most of that is your pension bond. Remember the PS public safety?
Oh, this is, okay, so this is a overview of all of our debt services.
That's your,
Okay, so if we were to exclude all other debt services, would we be in item 6, or, I mean, how much is this 18 million gonna cost us?
column 6 is the estimate right now.
Okay, so the 18 million will cost us 22.7 over time.
Yeah, if that's right.
Okay.
We're estimating that. If it were to stay on the books for 10 years, which we're hoping obviously not, right?
Correct. Okay.
And that would be it, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
That's it. Thank you. So with that, I'll close our discussion and open it up to the public.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
So,
Chairman.
Cassandra, do you have anyone that is notifying you on the internet? No. And do we have anyone in Payson?
No, sir.
And do we have anyone here in Glow that wishes to speak on this item? And the answer seems to be no. So I will close the public hearing. This is not an action item, and so we'll close out this item. Thank you for coming.
Very much.
And
See you
did you
soon.
have someone with you brought, or?
Your bond attorney, Paul Gales, was nice enough.
Yeah, okay, good to see you too. All right. So let's move on then to items 4. Regular agenda item 4A is information, discussion, action to approve amendment number 2 to the intergovernmental agreement number 100-42023 with the town of Miami to provide funding for the Copper Mountain Transit System in the amount of $73,000 for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. And we have Alexis Rivera and Melinda. No? Who do we have with us today?
Melinda. Okay. Okay, you first? Okay, good morning. How are you guys today?
Good.
My name is Melinda Baez. I'm the transit coordinator for Copper Mountain Transit. It's been 3.5 years, been in the position. And what we have in front of you right now is just kind of a graph to show our fiscal year starts for the town of Miami for the grant is from July, thank you, 1st through June 30th. So the first graph is our dial-a-ride, which is a curb-to-curb service that we offer people. We only charge $1 per zone. So the most it can cost is about $4. You know, if you live in Miami and you want to go to Walmart, that's all zone 1, so it's going to cost you $1 to go to Walmart and $1 to come back. It's pretty affordable, and we operate from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. We do try and make concessions. Like right now, we have a couple of people who go to work and they come to Globe and they need to get there earlier. So we got approval to go ahead and pick them up like at 6:15 because we normally start at 6:30. So we do try and help our community out by making those kind of concessions when we can. So for the fiscal year 2023, our passengers were 4,458. Our revenue was 8,103, and our revenue miles was 15,038, and our vehicle hours was 1,762. For fiscal year 24, we had 3,571. Our revenue was 6,421, and our revenue miles was 10,524. Our vehicle hours was 1,645. And so far for fiscal year 25, which is from July through the end of January, we're at 2,814 in passengers and 13,944 in revenue and 7,890 for revenue mileage and 845 for the vehicle hours. So that's kind of a snapshot of how we've been doing for the dial-a-ride service. Any questions on that?
So, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey?
No, I'll wait till you get
To the end?
finished
Okay.
with the whole scoop.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so with our fixed bus route, for fiscal year 23, we had 15,714 passengers. Yeah, there you go. Our revenue was 12,966. Our revenue mileage was 61,409, and our vehicle hours was 5,681. For fiscal year 24, we had 14,238 with our revenue of 10,728, and our revenue mileage was 57,590, and our vehicle hours was 5,722. So far for this year, we're up through the end of January as well. We have 7,509 for our passengers, 5,135 for our revenue, 34,495 for our revenue mileage, and $32.89 for our vehicle hours. So that's for our fixed bus route. We offer 2 routes. We start in Miami and we're at Alhambra. We go east to west or west to east, starting at 6:30 a.m. and we end at 6 p.m. We also have, it's a fixed route with deviation. So if a passenger, let's say they live in Claypool, and they give us a call, we can have the driver, when they're coming from Miami on their way to Walmart, we can pick them up. And it's $1 to deviate. The fares for the bus are $1 for regular fare, or reduced fare at 50 cents for anybody who is over 55, a student, or somebody with a disability. So it's also, we also provide passes. People buy reduced fare passes for $15 for the month, or $25 for the full fare. And the Dial Ride also has $55 for the month for passes. So that's our numbers for that. The next slide. So we, before I get into that, we completed and submitted our application for the 5311 Rural Transit Grant for fiscal year 2026 through 2028. So I submitted that on the 18th of February, and we're going to wait for approval, and that's for the next 2 years, in 2026, July. And then we completed our 2-day, we had a 2-day on-site visit last week on Thursday and Friday with a company called RLS that is a third party that ADOT had contracted to look at our, specifically transit, our operations and how we do our process. So that was 2 days, and we'll know the findings, or we'll know the report. We'll have it within 30 days. And then we'll have 90 days after that to cure any findings that have been found. Back in September with the flooding, just want to report we did lose one of our buses. It was CMT2. At that time, the bus was parked at Highway 60 for repairs, and it needed to stay over the weekend, and it was completely totaled. It was a 2019 Chevy Express 4500 cutaway, and it had about 98,000 miles on it at the time. So far right now, we're pending the check to come from the insurance company, $53,641.64, and then ADOT will then be sending us an invoice for their portion to be paid out from that check from the town of Miami. Typically, as I mentioned here, with our new van, ADOT, through the Federal Transit Association, they pay usually 85%, and then we pay through local share 15% when it comes to new vehicles. So this year, actually November 20th of 2025, we received our new van, which we were really excited about, so yay. Okay. The application was that I completed in 2023. It was a 5339 grant application that ADOT provides for us for FTA funds. The award was, we were awarded approval in November of 2023, and the funding was from October 2024 through September of 2026, and as I mentioned, it was delivered on November 20th. 2025, and it's a 2025, it's ADA fully compliant, it's a Chrysler Voyager. And so as you can see, the federal award at 85% was $86,666.85, and the local match is 15% of that is $15,294.14 for the total award of $101,961. So that's our new van. So like I said, we're very excited about it. Our oldest van is CMT1, which is at 116,928 miles currently. It's still in pretty good condition, but it's feeling its wear. So right now it's as a spare. We use it for when the drivers need to do transfer, and we also use it whenever if a vehicle needs to get worked on or they need maintenance, we can pull that van out and use it. The next one is our bus that we received through that same 5339 grant application in 2023 that was awarded on November 9th. It was delivered on January 29th, 2026. It's a 2026 ADA fully compliant Ford Starcraft All-Star with a lift. We decided to do a lift this time. Our other two buses that were purchased before I had the job as transit coordinator before I came to the town of Miami, they had a ramp, and we've actually had some difficulties with just that type of model. It's a Chevy, and so we thought, in talking with Model 1, to go with a Ford chassis, and it has a regular suspension versus the liquid spring suspension that the other two buses have. Unfortunately, they don't have the ramp style with that, where the ramp's in the front. So we went ahead and upgraded to make sure the lift can do a capacity of over 1,000 pounds to make sure that we are covered. So, and that bus, it has a great design. So when our passengers use the lift to go up, and if some of our passengers are on scooters, they're parked in the back. And the two back, there's 3 rows of seats, and the 2 last rows they can move them up like that, which gives more room. So we're actually, the people that have wheelchairs or have scooters actually have more room to get in there and get them positioned safely, and to be able to do a 4-point securement on them, and then the seat belt if they choose to. On the other buses, it was a little more difficult. They were in front, so sometimes people couldn't maneuver. They might kind of block the aisle a little bit. You know, I was in constant contact with with Keith at ADA, with ADOT, to just make sure we're still in compliance with that. And he said, just do your best. You know, we have to just do our best, because some of these people, they don't want you to maneuver their scooter. And that's their right. So we're just there to kind of assist them and help them. But we want to keep them safe. So that was another reason why we went with this design. And also the Ford chassis and the regular suspension, so hopefully we're going to see a drop in maintenance repairs in regards to our suspension versus our other prior to buses. So the federal award of that was $146,453.30. Our local match at 15% was $25,844.70, and our total award was $172.98. Let's see. Currently, we have 4 full-time bus drivers with 1 relief part-time driver, and they're working out really well. We do have a full-time dispatcher and myself as a full-time transit coordinator, and we are looking for a part-time dispatcher who's also be a backup driver right now. We have seen an increase in the elderly, which I'm kind of excited about. One person I told, I'm really proud of you. This type of transportation provides freedom for people. So not everybody is blessed to have extended family or family that's close by that can do the rides for these people, to take them to their doctor's appointments, take them to the grocery store, just take them out somewhere, go get out of the house, go to the senior center. And so we see people like Lori, who lives at Christina Apartments, who didn't really ride the bus that often. She mostly did dial-a-ride, but now that the bus stops at Christina Apartments, which is very convenient for her and anybody that lives there or nearby, she is learning how to ride the bus and go to the store. and she'll call us, did I miss the bus? No, Lori, you didn't miss the bus. It's at this time. I'll call the driver, hey, look out for Lori. You should be expecting her at Walmart, because we want to make sure she gets picked up. And then we get her straight home. So it's a really great service. I'm very proud of our drivers. I'm very proud of this service that we provide for the community. Last week, the CAP office has requested their annual purchase of 300 one-way passes for the bus and 30 monthly reduced fare passes to hand out in 2026 or until they run out. And then future goals, we're hoping to extend dial-a-ride from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. and or operate on Saturdays. However, we've been actively discussing this with ADOT over the years, but unfortunately the funds haven't been there to expand. So we will continue to update the numbers and have discussions with ADOT and see what we can do as far as the budget to see if we can expand these services for our community.
And we're hoping to update our signs, because right now they still say Copper Valley Transit, and our name is Copper Mountain Transit. So I just want to say we appreciate you, the stakeholders. Thank you so much for your contributions in providing safe, reliable public transportations for our community. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that you seem very engaged in what you do and the enthusiasm in which you do it. So
Thank you.
that's very much appreciated in trying to help these people get to where they need to go, and you seem extremely involved in trying to help them. Question, have you added any stops in your routine over the last year, or are they pretty much consistent on the same?
We haven't added a stop, but we did change a stop. We switched Safeway for the Hill Street Sutherland stop, which kind of coincided with the opening of the Hill Street apartments.
Right.
We're actually having, some of those members that we pick up now, they actually lived in different areas and they moved to Hill Street. And we have seen an increase in people from that development that call for dial a ride or ride the bus. So that's the bus that we kind of just swapped it.
Okay.
But we haven't added any bus stops lately. We are in discussions because of the new housing development at the Inspiration School in Miami. So we will be working through that and to see how we can work out a bus stop there as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Supervisor Klein.
Alexis, Linda, thank you so much. I mean, this is a lot of work keeping this up and going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's
sure.
a lot of people that depend on that, so I'm glad we get to help out with this anyway, and
Thank
what
you.
we can. But thank you guys so much for what you're doing.
In addition to that, Chairman and members of the Board Supervisor, we received a petition for over the weekend to provide service over the weekend. We're going to be analyze that, and now with the new buses and units, expenses are going to be reduced because these units was not designed for the rural area. That's one of the elements that we found at the beginning of the 2022, middle 2022. We want to create a better service and updates all the bus stops for cover. We start doing it in the new ones and Hills and Miami and Globe. And we're gonna try to change those here at the east side of the county, the Globe area. That's our goal, to improve for better service for the community.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, that would be awesome, so.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks to both of you. With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amendment number 2 to intergovernmental agreement number 10042023 with the town of Miami as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in
Thank you.
favor say aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is 4B. It's information discussion action to approve an economic development agreement number 2026-0205 between Gila County and Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction Incorporated in the amount of $5,000 to support their volunteer organization with the cost associated with operating the Pine Brush Pit, which offers the community free brush pit removal and assist with fire wising, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public. This is my item. This is an annual request that I have fulfilled. With us today from that organization, we have Michael Browning and I think Steve Bowen, and they do a tremendous job in firewising that part of the county and managing this brush pit. Would either one of you care to say a few words, or I appreciate you being there?
Say a few words.
Thank you very much, Steve. We open the brush pit every year from roughly April to November. We'll be doing that soon in the next few weeks. We're prepping it now, and we very much appreciate your support.
Very much, thank you.
Yes, and thank you. So there's changes apparently that's occurring at the Novo biomass facility that is complicating both the Blattner pit and the Pine Strawberry pit, and also our own landfill when it comes to what they are now accepting They don't want to accept anything that's dirty or just pine needles or leaves. And so there's more challenges involved with how that's all working right now. But we're working through that stuff. So any questions, Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein?
So how do you guys go about separating your trash and everything from dirty stuff to the cleaner stuff? So
The landfill currently right now, if I can speak for our Public Works Manager, Director, is that we're seeking a burn permit right now to take care of the pile that we have, and we're gonna have to start separating what is acceptable for Novo. And I believe the Blattner pit and the Pine Strawberry pit are gonna have to start saying no to certain products and send them to the landfill to pay for the, and
That's correct. We typically have 2 volunteers on staff at all time. One is checking them in, the second one is actually reviewing the payload. We've had some issues, for the past 12 months of people bringing in debris, like, landscaping block, says concrete block, just stuff that just is not acceptable there. And it's gotten better. And the fact that we have the dual man position on there, changing, it does help. So it's a never-ending battle. I believe it's got to be probably publicized a little bit more so the locals know, because we will make them take it back. They're not very happy about that, but it's either that or I have to take it back. I'm not happy about that. So we're getting better at it, but it's not terrible.
okay, thanks for that.
So then, anything that Novo doesn't take, then you guys are gonna have to burn it there? Is that what you're saying, in essence?
Well, the best case scenario is we catch them and we don't burn it. And if it's burnable, it depends on what it is. And 2x4s are one thing, brush, yard debris, pine cones, that's another. But when we get unburnable materials, it's either my staff has to disregard them, or we have to enforce it and make people take it on themselves. Burn it for the next time, I don't mind, but that's kind of where we're at.
Okay. You know, back in that ash is an issue after it's built up.
I know Frank and Blattner burn again, so if they develop a certain amount, then we may, as supervisors, need to step in and fund the transfer of those materials to the landfill. And so it's gonna be a transition time.
Then if they go to the landfill, we're gonna end up burning it at the landfill, is that?
Chairman, right now we are working on hopefully a one-time burn. If you've been at our landfill, you can see that there are significant mounds or mountains of green waste. For many years, it wasn't managed, and so we're looking at this as a one-time effort. Regarding the Novo plant, my understanding is the reason for these changes is because items that were loose, like the leaves, pine needles, pine cones, etc., cause like hot flashes in their system. So it was a processing issue that they finally honed in on, and that's one of the reasons they're not accepting that material. We've talked with the Blattner pit, and they mentioned earlier about the education campaign that needs to be done so that residents aren't caught off guard because of the routes, you know, between Blattner pit and the landfill.
Okay, so Christine, you know, when it still comes to the leaves, the pine cones, a smaller material, you're probably still gonna get that at the landfill, right?
Correct.
And so then are you just gonna look at just burning that as needed in the future as it builds up, or?
That is what we're hoping to do, or look at, again, not composting, but chipping and trying to get that material into smaller piles. It can be used for land cover. However, that also fills up the pit faster. So it's a balancing act on how we handle those materials.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. So, this is an economic development grant in the amount of $5,000 from my constituent funds. And so with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve Economic Development Agreement number 2026-0205 between Gila County and Pine Strawberry Fuel Reduction Incorporated as presented, and which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Steve and Michael, for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate
Okay.
it very much.
All right, next item is item 4C, information discussion action to adopt resolution number 26-03-01, authorizing the Gila County Recorder as the Board of Supervisors designee to designate 2 emergency voting centers for the 2026 primary election specified in the resolution. Good morning again, Wendy.
Good morning, thank you. So my office will be open both here in Globe as well as in Payson as the early voting center, as it has in the past. And per statute, I need permission to hold that open the Saturday, Sunday, and Monday immediately preceding the primary election.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey,
I have no questions, thank you.
Supervisor Klein.
Can't think of any right now. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Right, this is a very routine for each election, so thank you very much. With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt resolution number 26-03-01.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4D, information discussion action to approve or deny a petition for redemption of exemption waiver from Alan W. Doris, petitioning to have his property tax exemption that is deemed waived by ARS 42-11153A redeemed for tax year 2025. Good morning, Shara.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Supervisors Klein and Humphrey. I'm before you today presenting a petition for redemption of exemption waiver for Alan W. Doris for the second half of his 2025 taxes. Mr. Doris missed the application period for the 2025 exemption, which was January 2nd through March 3rd of last year, and ARS 42-11153A states that if a taxpayer who is otherwise entitled to a property tax exemption fails to file the required affidavit during the application period, the taxpayer waives their right to receive that exemption. However, ARS 42-11153B provides that the taxpayer can redeem this waiver and receive the exemption on taxes that have not yet become due and payable. The first half of 2025 taxes owed became due and payable on October 1st of last year, so Mr. Doris is unable to receive an exemption of the first half as he did not submit his petition until January 29th of this year. But since he filed his petition before March 1st of this year, he may redeem the exemption for the second half of his taxes, which is $256.80. Even though your vote today is past the March 1st deadline, his petition was received before the deadline. Mr. Doris's reason for failing to file in the application period was that he recently moved to Gila County in 2023. He moved to Gila County from Pima County, and all counties have the same application opportunity and deadlines. The assessor's office does not advocate for or against these petitions. It is entirely up to your decision as the board. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Sheriff. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, this exemption of taxes, it's like they don't pay taxes, and it's for the years is 2025. So what about 2026?
2026, he will also receive the exemption and will have it going forward.
Of no taxes?
His situation, correct, it would be no taxes because his assessed value is below the allowable exemption amount that statute provides. There are many of taxpayers that do still have to pay taxes. Theirs are just reduced.
Okay, I guess my question is if at some point in time something happens to this person, what happens to that property? It won't go in a tax foreclosure sale because there's no taxes owed on that property.
Right.
Or if a nephew or whoever may move into that property, there's no taxes to be paid on that property. So I guess that would leave it in limbo land, which creates blight, which I'm totally against. So I guess I'm wondering in the future, if this goes through, what happens to the gentleman, what happens to that property if this owner is no longer the owner of the property?
When the ownership changes, the exemption falls off. The new
When
owner must-
when somebody when somebody records it in their name, like if it goes through probate or if it's in a will and they change it. But if they do not change it, then this property stays in limbo land.
Right, that, there are properties that are that way, Supervisor Humphrey, where a property is kind of in limbo and probate, and so it stays in that person's name, even though they're deceased, as their primary until the probate process can finish. So there are those properties that are just kind of sitting in limbo, waiting for something to happen.
At some point, could there at least be $1? I mean, everybody could afford dollar taxes.
You're gonna have to get with the legislature on that.
Okay, well, I'm with the legislature now on Proposition 1067.
Okay,
To where if you're paying taxes on a property in the state of Arizona, you're liable for it. I mean, it's not written that way, but basically that's what it is. So if you're an investor, or you're a nephew paying taxes on a property of someone who has passed and the properties, they're liable. So what I'm doing, if I vote on this, down the road, I'm creating an issue of a blighted property that nobody can do anything with years down the road.
that's a possibility.
Okay.
But it's also not a possibility as well.
Thank you.
Supervisor Klein.
I really don't have anything to add to all that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a scenario, Shara, that this person hypothetically could get this exemption without selling the property, move to another property, buy another property, and get another exemption, have some of his relatives or rent the property out, and we would be unaware of him receiving this benefit while he still is alive?
The benefit is for primary residences only. Now, could somebody leave their home and have a family member move in there and not tell anybody and then live in another property? That can happen.
That can happen, but
Because
it
people
basically,
don't always report.
it'll basically all end at his death.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. Well, thanks for that discussion.
You're welcome.
Interesting discussion. With that, I will call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve a petition for redemption of exemption waiver from Alan W. Doris for tax year 2025.
Thank you.
This needs a lot more work in the legislature. I'll second it.
We do have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Nay.
And we have 2 ayes and 1 nay. Supervisor Humphrey. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, we have item 4E, information, discussion, action to approve the distribution of secure rural schools and communities funds, the forest fees of Gila County's share of the federal fiscal year 2026-2027 Secure Rural Schools Act Fund as authorized through Section 24 of PL 114-10 for fiscal year 26 through 27, using the same percentage splits as last year. Roads, 2.15%, schools, 7.93%, and Gila County Educational Services Agency, 19.92%. Good morning, Nick. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good. Good. Thank you.
So, good morning, board. This is just the percentage we want to distribute the money when we receive it. So that way we can put it into the schools the same day we get it.
All right. Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein.
Checks in the mail, right?
It always is.
Thank you, Nick.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the distribution of secure rural schools and communities funds, forest fees of Gila County's share of the federal fiscal year 2026 through 2027. Secure Rural Schools Act funds as authorized through the Section 24 of PL 114-10 for fiscal year 2026-2027 using the same percentage splits as last year's: roads 2.15%, schools 77.93%, and Gila County Education Services Agency 19.92%.
Mr. Chair, I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Nick. Have a great day. All right, item 4F, information discussion action. To review all bids submitted for invitation for bid number 090-42025, janitorial services. Award a contract to the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidder, Janiserve Incorporated, for an initial term of March 3rd, 26 through March 2nd, 2027, for a maximum not to exceed compensation amount of $441,708.64. Good morning, Amber.
Good morning, Supervisor Humphrey, Supervisor Klein, Chairman Christensen. So a couple months ago, we came before you with the request for bid. We had 3 bids come back, 3 responses come back. Out of all the bids, Janiserve did come back as the lowest, most responsive bid. With that, the breakdown for the overall contract is Region 1, which is Globe. So $138,000 will go to Globe, $79,000 will go to Payson, $78,000 will go to Young, which will just be the administrative building at PVVR. And then we went ahead and did event-driven services to include $8,000 at the fairgrounds for event support and $163,000 for turn-down services at PVVR. We did the $163,000 based off a 75% occupancy. We don't know that that's what it's going to be, but we would rather go over than under and then have to come back and ask for more. Of the 3 bids, we received 1 local and 2 outside. Unfortunately, the local bid was significantly higher than the other bids. With that, we're recommending Janiserve be awarded the contract. If you have any questions.
Thank you, Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein.
What was the dollar difference between the highest and the lowest?
I believe it was 30, a little, right at 30,000.
Yes, I believe it was a little less than that, approximately 25,000.
So 25,000.
And that was a local?
That was one of the local, yeah. So with Janiserve, I will say they do employ local people. So it's kind of catch-22. Even though they're not based here, they do employ local people.
And so they've been our cleaners in the past then?
They are our current services.
Right now. Thank you.
Thank you. So is Janiserve who we're using right now?
They are.
And you gave 2 figures for PV.
Yes, we did the administrative building, which is just on a set schedule like it would be at the courthouse.
Okay, and so I'm just comparing the Payson facilities. The Payson facilities seem more vast than the one administrative building.
So Payson came back at $79,776, where Young PVVR came back at $7,800.
Oh, I heard 78,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. You just drop a 0 off of there
Yeah.
and it makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. All right, good. That was my question. Thank you. With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to award a contract to Janiserve Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $441,708.64 in response to invitation for bids number 0904-2025, janitorial services as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Amber. All right, 4G, information, discussion, action to review the responsive bid for request for proposal number 07062025, the Gila County zoning ordinance rewrite, and award a contract to the sole responsive and responsible bidder, Logan Simpson, in the amount of $187,460. Good morning, Randy.
Morning, supervisors. So as you know, we've been going through this a long time. Back in October, you guys authorized us to go out to bid. We received 3 bids. 2 of them were considered unresponsive by procurement. So this is the sole one that filled out all the paperwork and signed all the stuff they were supposed to do to be a competitive bid. As you may know, the current Gila County zoning ordinance was last amended in March 22. It is outdated and has become increasingly difficult to apply to the county's evolving needs. The existing ordinance, through comprehensive containments, outdated provisions, and does not reflect the current state laws, best practices in zoning. We, I can kind of say we kind of copied, but we copied towns and cities and put them in the county and said it worked, and it didn't. So we're here to ask for permission to award the bid of $187,460. With that, I'll be able to answer any questions.
Thank you, Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, I think it's necessary that we get something like this together, but in this, is there going to be a place where, I mean, as rural Arizona grows, like some places in my place, like around Roosevelt and things like that, somebody owns a rooster and it creates a whole a stir up in the community. So in zoning, are we able to address some of those things? Like there are places that are great to have animals, pigs and chickens and roosters and all that stuff. But then also too, there's places where it may not be a great thing. And I hate to take privileges away from people, but would this be a time to address some of those issues that we've been having?
This is absolutely the best time to address that. If you actually were at my office and see my existing ordinance, it's got red ink all over it. Those are things that need to be addressed, and you know, such as the rooster in a neighborhood, it's not the best thing to have. You know, horses on a quarter-acre property is not a great thing to have either. Pigs, all those kind of things for animals that are in neighborhoods. But also, you know, we've talked about septic systems on where RVs are and stuff like that. So this is the time that we're going to address that. In this bid, there was time for outreach, where they're going to go to the community and ask their opinion and search things, and then they're going to come back. They've asked to meet with all of you, but I explained to them that that is a closed meeting law issue, but they may try to reach out to you individually through this process and go through. I would expect this process to take a year. I'm just going to be honest that there's so much stuff here that we have grown from what we had before to now. So I'm going to bet on a year.
Okay.
No further question. Yeah, thank you. Because like I say, that yeah, needing a septic tank when you've got trailers and things of that nature. Yeah, that's all important stuff. And so thank you for being able to look at that during this zoning.
Yes, sir.
Supervisor Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Randy, thanks for putting this together. I do think there's a lot of work we need to do here, but absolutely the board needs to be involved. And so if that can be done through work sessions or however we can schedule that, that would be good.
Okay.
And keep us informed on that.
I would bet during the process, we'd come back to you at least, besides work sessions, come back to you at least once during this process and tell you what's kind of going on. This is the same company that is doing Yavapai County right now, and they've got a lot of the same stuff we have. They're rural, they've got recreational, they've got stuff, so I think this is gonna be a good fit.
Yeah, it's pretty important to get it right, so thank you, Randy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to award, a contract to Logan Simpson in the amount of $187,460 in response for a request for proposal number 07062025, Gila County zoning ordinance rewrite as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Randy. 4H, information discussion action to approve amendment number 1 to contract number 082924. Design services for flood protection at Campaign Creek in Roosevelt Estates Community with West Consultants Incorporated to extend the contract through March 10th, 2027 with no charge to the contract amount. Good morning.
Morning, supervisors and chairman. This is just a contract extension. I came into this job with them where we've been doing public outreach and trying to address all of their comments and get them into the alternatives analysis that we've been putting on. We're moving into design now, but we just need an extension to the contract.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
Okay, yeah, no, I appreciate your public outreach, and I believe at public outreach there were maybe some different options or things of that nature. And so now that we've kind of picked an option, is there more public outreach to let them know what option that we're possibly moving forward with?
Yes, so right now we have 3 alternatives. There's actually more than that, but there's some of them that don't make a lot of sense.
Yes.
But we are bringing those back to the public anyway to
Okay.
show them that this is why they're not viable. And then we're presenting all 3, and then from there we'll move into design.
I thank you very much for your time, patience on this and working with the people. It's been a deal for a long time, and you know, we were holding this money back to see about the grant, and we got the grant, the buildings are gone, so now we're working on the north side, and the people are very interested. And so I appreciate you taking the time and interest to work with the public on this and go through it with them, to let them know and to be open of what their options are and the money that we have. So thank you very much for all your time and effort in that, and the rest of the staff as well.
Thank you. Supervisor Klein.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, with that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make the motion to approve amendment number 1 to contract number 082924 with West Consultants Incorporated as presented.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you very much. Item 4I, information discussion action to approve the intergovernmental agreement number 02042026 between the Gila County Sheriff Office and the Tonopatchy Tribe for housing detainees at the Gila County Detention Facility for an initial term to begin once the agreement has been fully executed and shall end 4 years from the effective date. Officer Fulton.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Board. I'm asking the Board to approve an IGA with the Tonopatchy Tribe for the housing of inmates. I'll answer any questions you have.
Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein.
I'm good, Raymond, thanks.
Yeah, I'm good as well. I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve intergovernmental agreement number 02042026 between the Gila County Sheriff's Office and the Tonopatchy Tribe as presented.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. 4J, information discussion action to approve an intergovernmental agreement number 2024-3183 with the Arizona Department of Water Resources for the operation and maintenance of the Arizona continuously operating reference system sites within Gila County, and to authorize the chairman of the board to sign all related documents. Mr. Goodman.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, board members. This is simply a no-cost IGA that we would like to enter into with Arizona Department of Water Resources. They are going to maintain a couple of these GPS stations for us. We have that we host on our property. Used to be maintained by ADOT. ADWR is taking it over. So we would just like to formalize it and enter into this agreement. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Supervisor Humphrey.
So they're just gonna maintain the operations of that, correct?
Yes.
They don't have any authority to change anything, or?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Supervisor Klein.
So, Tom, what are we actually looking for on these sites? I mean, what are they analyzing or whatever?
Maybe I'll have Sam, I'll let him answer a more
Okay.
technical question for you.
Chairman, board members, these are GPS sites. They're the same as your handheld GPS. They've been in operation since, the one on this building's been in operation since '03. And there's also one in Star Valley that's been in operation since '08. They kind of fell by the wayside when ADOT was maintaining them, so ADWR has taken up the mantle and has been maintaining these. They've been replaced once here, and it's going to get replaced one more time, and then the one in Star Valley has too, so this isn't anything new. They collect GPS data, and with that information, the National Geodetic Survey creates maps and different projections and things like that, state plane coordinates or latitudes and longitudes and such.
So they're like rain gauges or what?
Nope, they just collect GPS data 24/7 for the last 20 years.
I would think once they collected it off this building, they'd have it for 24 years already.
Yeah, you think, but they actually collect enough data that we could track plate tectonics through the different plates, and we also use it to reverse engineer the actual location of the satellites in the sky. You think you know where they're at, but with this information we can make it even more accurate.
And this is all through ADWR?
Correct. They've decided to take up the mantle and start maintaining these systems.
If I may, Sam. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, these two stations that are in place are used by the survey community pretty extensively. So to get an accurate survey position, you need to have a known starting point. So you're either setting a GPS unit, say, out on a marker out in the wilderness, or the public has the ability to tie into these stations, removing that cost, removing that barrier to theft of equipment, and still get the same accuracy. So we're just asking, with ADWR as a partner, we're continuing that partnership to provide a service to the community. Does that make sense?
It does to me, Tom, now that you mention it. It's just weird that the Department of Water Resources are the ones picking it up to me, but.
Right, well, Gila County bought this equipment, bought both pieces of equipment originally, and over time, to standardize on the equipment for efficiencies of operation and purchase, the state took over maintenance.
Okay.
So we now have ADWR owned equipment in the third floor electric room of the courthouse, and then that little GPS tower that you see if you go out to the Star Valley Yard next to the green trailer to the left of it. So it used to be county equipment, but when the state was able to get funding for that, we're like, well, our equipment's old, you want to maintain it. So the only thing we're providing is power.
Okay. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks for that. With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve intergovernmental agreement number 2024-3183 with the Arizona Department of Water Resources for the operation and maintenance of the Arizona Continuously Operating Reference System sites within Gila County, and to authorize the chairman of the board to sign all related documents.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Item 4K is information, discussion, action to approve economic development agreement number 022322026 between Gila County and Cobra Valley Regional Medical Center to participate in the Natural Resources Conservation Services Emergency Watershed Protection Program for the hospital flood wall project, which the board is determined to be for the benefit of the public. Tom.
Thank you. So, as you know, we've applied for NRCS EWP funds, around $32 million. The hospital flood wall project is just one of those projects that we would like to do. So we, with this agreement, we'll be the sponsor for the hospital. We, as a government agency, we have to sponsor them. We will incur no cost. They have their own project manager, their own inspectors, but we will be the sponsor and help them through this process. Be happy to answer any questions.
Supervisor Humphrey.
No, I just want to say thank you. I have no questions because I've talked to Neil and I've talked to staff, and so I think it's great that we were able to help them, and they couldn't get this grant without a sponsor. So I appreciate very much that Gila County stepped up to be a partner for them to help get them a wall. So if we do have more water come down, that the hospital won't be in jeopardy. So thank you very much.
Same here, Tom. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Tom. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve Economic Development Agreement number 022322026 between Gila County and Cobra Valley Regional Medical Center to participate in a Natural Resource Conservation Service Emergency Watershed Protection Program for the hospital flood wall project as presented, and which the board is determined to be for the benefit of the public.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 4L is information, discussion, action to approve amendment number 4 to contract agreement number ADOA CTR 058876, the Forest Service Highway 512 environmental documents and clearances with Kimberly Horn and Associates Incorporated, extending the term through February 7th, 2027, with no modification of the contract amount. Tom.
Thank you. So this is the $472,000 we got from the Tonto to do the EA for Young Road. Kimberly Horn is our engineering consultant that's doing the study. So we're just asking to extend that time a little bit. As you know, ADOT, we got a SMART grant through ADOT for final design of Young Road. So ADOT's taking a look at this EA. They want to make sure it's done to their standards as well as the Forest Service. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
Supervisor Klein.
Good, thank you, Tom.
Yeah, thank you. I'll call for motion.
I'll make the motion to approve amendment number 4 to contract agreement number ADOA CPR 058876 with Kimberly Horn and Associates Incorporated as presented.
Mr. Chair, I'll second it.
Motion and a second to approve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Tom. All right, we're on to our consent agenda items, which are items 5A through K. Supervisor Humphrey, would you like to discuss one or more of those separately?
No, I'm good, thank you.
How about you, Mr. Klein?
I'm good.
All right, then I will call for a motion to approve the consent agenda items 5A through K.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent agenda items 5A through 5K.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second to approve. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, where are we? Called to the public. All right, Lisa, anybody there?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Cassandra, how many do we have today?
They're at 107.
Ooh, that might be a record. All right, thank you very much. Here in Globe, is anyone in this area here? No, we do have, though, a person by the name of Tim Humphrey that would like to speak during this time. Call to the public. please proceed to the podium.
State your name and address.
My name is Tim Humphrey. My address is 263 Quail, Roosevelt, Arizona. This is kind of a new one. Joe, if he gives me the hook, then that's about as far as I go. But as supervisors, we're not able to talk because it's a violation of open meeting laws. And sometimes I have some things I'd like to say and don't, so I thought, okay, let's see where this goes. But anyway, as we go forward with the flood mitigation, with the landfill expansion, with the zoning and things of that nature, I encourage Supervisor Christensen and Supervisor Klein that as we go forward with projects in District 2, to reach out to the people of District 2, reach out to department heads, because there's going to be a lot of moving parts to a lot of these projects, and I would just I would like to see you get familiar with them before we come up here and vote on some of the projects that's coming up. And also going forward, I would appreciate that very much, and I'd like to thank you ahead of time, because there's quite a few more rural constituents in my district, and that's something I was blessed with. It's nobody's fault, but a lot of the projects are in my district because I'm majority rural, and so I thank you very much on that going to the future. And also too, I would like Chairman Christensen to put on a work session in the near future, a work session on communication. And because of a lot of things going on, I would like to be better understood on communication, like I say, with the zoning. How does that going to work if I reach out to some of the people in Young or Payson on some of these zoning changes to get their understanding? Because I understand we all have our own individual districts, but we're elected to serve the county. And as we go forward with things like zoning and some of these other projects and stuff, I would like very much to know where I stand on kind of some of those outreaches with like other department people, or you as supervisors to reach out to people in Tonto Basin as we're going through some of this. So you get the feel that I do, because I get the phone calls and a lot of times the other supervisors do not. And so this would enable, and I can't tell you what's going on. And so I'd like very much to know where we're at going forward in the availability of communication with each other's constituents and staff and department heads. I would like that on a work agenda in the near future. And so I thank you all very much, and I hope I didn't burn up too much of over my 3 minutes.
Thank you for your comments, Citizen Humphrey. The board does not respond to call to the public, so we won't. However, I will ask staff to take it under the recommendation that we try and put a work session together to discuss the concerns of Mr. Humphrey. Okay, thank you. At this time then, we will close that and go to item 7, which is our reports. Manager Menlove.
Mr. Chairman, did travel with Supervisor Klein and staff to Washington, D.C. in the last week. And still find it a little bit of a challenge in that there, with the budget and things like that have not been established from the federal government. Of course, that's been the story for a number of years, of the difficulty of doing the budget on a federal level, but there still seems to be a certain amount of unknown, and so it's difficult to go in and talk to agencies and our representatives, senators, and congressmen in D.C. and get solid information of where the funding is and what we can do to get certain things. They have a portion of the NACO Legislative Conference where there's an opportunity to meet with agencies, federal agencies, and talk to them about what their funding is. I find it interesting that one of the biggest entities or agencies that was at that event was the U.S. Postal Service, which doesn't really help us a lot in funding things here in Gila County. So we continue to pursue that, work with our federal representatives, federal agencies to ensure that we have the resources we can get to address the things like the flooding and all the different things, Supervisor Humphrey, that you just identified, that we have many issues that we need to address and continue to work with the federal government on that funding. So I do consider it was a successful trip in that we do continue to maintain those relationships and maintain those discussions of the issues that we have here in Gila County. If I could, I'd like to go to the podium and Elaine, would you come up? Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Elaine Votruba has been our county librarian since December of 2022. Before that, she worked with the county beginning in June of 2016 as our public service librarian. Ms. Votruba has been valuable to us in furthering the library services that we have here in Gila County. I wanted to acknowledge all she has done to serve the citizens of Gila County through the libraries. As you know, the county doesn't necessarily have a library, but we provide a lot of the funding and a lot of the support, a lot of the resources, a lot of the materials that the libraries in Gila County have. And I think I want to thank Ms. Votruba for her undying services and commitment to libraries in Gila County and to the great benefit that she has had for Gila County. I have a small gift for you in appreciation for all that you've done for us. Would you like to make comments first, and then Ms. Votruba, we're going to give you an opportunity after the board has an opportunity to say things.
Supervisor Humphrey.
I just want to say thank you very much for all you've done and the extra efforts that you even put in to come to my public meetings in the evening, 5 to 6 to whatever, and inform the people of what you do, what you have, and new things going on. And not just once or twice, but most of the time you were there. And I thank you very much for being a part of the people of Gila County.
Supervisor Klein.
Elaine, thank you for everything. You've been awesome to work with and a huge plus for our library. So thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy the retirement. I'm envious.
Thank you.
Yes, Elaine, thank you. Thank you. Been a good servant to Gila County, and I hope you do enjoy your retirement and have lots of plans and travels and whatever you plan on doing, that would all be successful. Is this your husband with you?
Yes, it is.
Yes. All right, you got her back. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And just real short, I want to thank you all for your support for the libraries. It's been huge for us to have you as a backing, and I hope that goes forward. My replacement, Natalie Bulick, is fantastic, and she'll do a great job as well. So have fun working with her. I appreciate your help. Thank you.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, I did want to say that Natalie Bulick is our new county librarian. I've not had a chance to have her here and to meet you, but we will get her here to a board meeting that she can be formally introduced to you as board members. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Is that all you have then for your report?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. Thank you very much. And Supervisor Humphrey.
Yes. I testified on February 18th at the Capitol on Senate Bill 1067. The blight bill, which I thank Wendy Rogers very much for carrying. And on the 26th, that bill passed the Senate third read 27-1, which to me, that's big for Gila County. Now it goes over to the House, but that's where I was getting into the blight deal earlier, is because this is to clean up properties that we've had issues with where there's no owner. And so my question today I don't want to create more properties with no owner, because we're having to go to the legislature to clean up these that have passed. And so I very much appreciate having Wendy's ear and taking that to the legislature and helping us get that far, because now that we have her ear, maybe we ought to not take away taxes completely, but I think everybody could afford $1. So going forward, hopefully she'll carry another bill maybe to eliminate unowned properties completely. I held a dumpster day at Roosevelt on the 21st, where I thank Aaron for coming and helping with that. We did a lot of things. We cleaned up a lot of stuff in Roosevelt that's no longer in people's yards and stuff. I attended the luncheon with Governor Hobbs. Also to the House, and we had another bill in for the money for flood mitigation of the $25 million, and carried by Walt Blackman, and we appreciate him carrying that bill, but it died in session. Are you okay, Joe? Yep. Okay.
Well, you got
okay. And it died because Dave Livingston, he's chairman of the Appropriations Committee, refused to hear the bill, which I didn't think a whole lot of, but I understood more when I found out that he represents Maricopa County, so I can understand why they didn't want to give us the money, but it doesn't help us any, and I do believe that Walt and our governor and things are working for something to work out money over 4 or 5 years to help us with our flood mitigation, and I appreciate that. I'll hold a Tono Basin community meeting tonight at 5 p.m. We'll hold a Southern Gila County preseason fire meeting on March the 5th. And Chairman, I think that does it for me.
Okay, thanks. Supervisor Klein.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I want to mention that one of our community members up there was involved in an accident, single vehicle accident the other day, and that was James Bruzy. I don't know how many here know James, but yeah, he rolled the truck off the road somewhere up there towards Apache County. Doing pretty good. He's got some whiplash issues, but he's doing pretty good. Me and Kathy, as the manager said, we did go to NACO as well, to DC. It was a good meeting. I'm on 2 committees in NACO. One is Public Lands and one's WIR, Western Interregional Committee. So we had a lot of discussion in Public Lands. That was about a full day of that. We had different speakers. We got to listen to the new chief of the Forest Service. That guy's really streamlining the Forest Service. He's bringing a lot of stuff straight down to the ground for decision making and control. Sounds like he's headed in the right direction. The other thing that was spoke about there was still the NEPA issues on projects, and ESA, Endangered Species Act, was still a big topic of discussion as well. During NACO, I'll go ahead and tell you this too, we had some other speakers show up at the general session in the morning. The one was Representative Westerman out of Arkansas. He's pushing through an act to address the NEPA requirements and to streamline it all and get it down to where it's not a bottleneck for us in projects. And I think, Jeff, you'll appreciate that. And also, he is pushing to revamp the ESA Act that was established in the 70s and has not been renewed since. So he's pushing for that as well. So I'm hoping that between those 2 things, if he can get that done in the next year or so, that would be a pretty good lick. WIR was kind of a recap of public lands. You know, there was a lot of talk about the PILT money, SRS. That's still a push to get it permanently funded. I don't know if it'll ever come to happen or not. You know, time will tell, but there is still a push up there to get them to do that. And so that was really good. WIR, the next meeting is in Hawaii. And that's gonna be in May. I'm not gonna go to that meeting. And usually I attend all WIR and public lands meetings, but this year, because of what we're doing with our floods and so forth, the fact we couldn't give our folks their COLA raises and things like that, I'm skipping that meeting. I already attended the one in DC, so I'm good there. But it is gonna be in Hawaii, and then in July, there's a NACO summer meeting that's gonna be in New Orleans. I'm sure it's nice and pleasant in New Orleans in July, but anyway. But it was a good meeting. We went up on the hill. We talked with Congressman Crane, had a good visit with him. He does a lot of work for us. He's been real instrumental in everything that's going on here in Gila County for the flooding. And he's still working with FEMA, working with NRCS, everybody else too. So he's really there for us on that. We then went on up to see Senator Kelly's staff. And we got to sit down with a staff member there. It was really busy on the hill that day. As State of the Union address, and I must have been a break in school or something. There's a ton of people. And anyway, had a visit with him or her about the vet center and the bill that's going through. They're pretty confident it's going to make it through. They're just looking for the right way to push it on. We're down to that last final step. The Senate and the House wrote a bill and put it through. The Senate copied that bill and put it through. But they're thinking that they'll go back maybe and use the House bill to advance it onto the floor in the final vote and to the president's desk. So hopefully they get that done. Am I missing anything? I'm good. Okay. And then we came home, and then the next day, we went up to see the governor in Payson, along with you guys. I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought it was a really good turnout. When you look around that room, there was probably 300 people in that room, in that banquet room, and it was definitely a collection of everybody. It just wasn't all Democrats, it wasn't all Republicans or whatever. It was a little bit of everyone in that room. And I thought she did pretty good. You know, she gave her speech and everything, and people were real polite, and she went around and talked to everybody at the tables and all that. At the end, I got to go back and visit with her a little bit. In 24, I think it was, Kathy reminded me this morning, she helped us get a lot of money for our youth program. I think to the tune of about $300,000. And so I went back and talked to her about getting a meeting set up with her and her staff to see maybe what kind of help we can look for a youth program again. I mean, the money we're having to spend on this cleanup and all that worries me a little bit about the youth program, and I don't want to see it go by the wayside. So she was fine with meeting with me and discussing that, and they're supposed to get back to Kathy and set up a date we can go visit with her. I don't think there's anything there. After that, we got this Saturday we have a town hall meeting in Young. A lot of permitting questions, a lot of rumors, a lot of BS, and so you know the goal is just to go back and explain to everybody the history of the permitting, why Young was operating like it was, and so forth for all these years, 40 plus years or whatever. I don't know where we're going with it. There's been no decisions, and so that all has to be worked out. But there's a lot of people up there right now that aren't very happy, and you know the only thing I can't tell them is how it came to be, because none of us know. The ladies, these two and Kathy dug through the minutes and everything to way back when, and there was no board action on doing any of that. Only board action was to establish a fee structure for the building permits. That was it. And so that's gonna be a big, point of discussion. Raising the flag project, Steve, there's a lot of people, I'm getting calls on that. You know, why are we spending that kind of money for raising the flags? I don't know what you're getting for calls, but, so I think it goes back to a lot, what people don't know, that they may make up, or somebody else is gonna fill in the blanks, and it goes from there. So it's good, I haven't had a town hall meeting in quite a while, so it's good to go back and kinda explain to folks what this is all about. We also have the 512, they're asking for road, letters of support for the 512 project. We have a letter that'll come from SRP. I've already talked with them and they're willing to write a letter of support for that. We'll have a letter coming from APS as well for the 512 road. The Gila Community College, Janice Hawthorne, she's gonna be there at the town hall meeting as well. She wants to go around and hit these town hall meetings and explain to people how the college is going and what they have to offer and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. And maybe get some folks that can get some online courses or whatever they're interested in, get that going. There's a picnic planned for May 16th at the Veteran Retreat, and that will be sponsored by the nonprofit and community veterans. Kathy's kinda leading the charge on that one, I think. So if you have any questions, Kathy she'll answer them. And this morning, of course, I met with Lori Urban pretty early. That was a really good meeting. I'd met Lori a few years ago in DC back then, and so it's good to have her back in Arizona. Craig Sullivan and hopefully his staff are going to come up to the Veterans Retreat on Saturday and have a tour. And I don't know how many know, but CSA is doing these podcasts on projects or you know, significant things that's happening in the counties. So they're putting these podcasts together and going to put them out. The Veteran Retreat will be a podcast. It'll be on a podcast. And so Craig wanted to come up and look at the site, walk through it, get a feel for it, all that. Well, you know, it's the same thing, Joseph, we tell everybody, you can look at the pictures all day long, but till you're there, it really doesn't do you justice. So he's going to be doing that, and then we'll have the podcast probably in about a week, 2 weeks. Here pretty quick. And then Friday, March 13th, there will be a meeting here at the courthouse with the cattle growers, Gila County cattle growers and FSA. And that'll be a discussion with FSA. FSA, Farm Services Administration, is going to start setting up some hours here at the courthouse. Once a month, whatever it works out to be. I think that's still kind of up in the air. Farm Services Administration has a lot of programs that permittees can use to help them. And so we haven't ever had a farm service agent up here at all. You know, usually it's in Phoenix, you have to go down there and talk to them, or in Holbrook, one or the other. So they're gonna be here for that. There will be a lot of discussion that same day on this lawsuit. You know, I think I spoke up, told you guys a little bit about that the other day. I told you the wrong number. I think there's 21 allotments in Toronto that's getting sued. And so the Forest Service is putting together their strategies with their lawyers and stuff to take that on. Also, the state cattle growers are getting involved right now and coming on board, and probably gonna end up helping us with some more legal support to help us beat down an injunction that's a part of this suit. And the injunction is for all these allotments, these permittees, to remove the livestock until it's settled in court. And so we want that beat down and out of our way, and then fight the rest of it. But we got to get through that injunction first. And so I'm telling you guys this because most of these permittees are in Gila County, and 21 Doesn't seem like a real big number, but it is, and it will be a huge financial impact on the county if this was to happen. I'll tell you right now, I'm one of the permittees that's in this lawsuit, just to be totally transparent, and who knows how it's gonna go. Right now, at this point in time, nobody does, but maybe after Friday we will. And with that, Mr. Chair, I think that's all I had. And I'd ask for questions, but I know I can't do that.
Sounds like we've got a handful going on with the Center for Biological Diversity. Anyway, thank you for that. Joseph Dickinson was on KMOG, was that yesterday? Seemed like a week ago. It was yesterday, did a great job. Thanks for doing that for us. I also, all three of us were at the State of the State in rural Arizona. A tremendous honor for the governor of Arizona to come to Gila County. And there was 325 people there, very diverse, but very polite and very good. No hollering out, no booze, no, you know, really just a politely done great time. And everyone was very appreciative of Gila County's part in that. All right, went to the veteran coffee last Tuesday. Went well, always well attended. There's a rural water, I don't even know what to call it, kind of a gathering at the Capitol with Alexis Sussdorf, who is in charge of a group, and I'm part of the group, and that's coming up on the 11th of March, and I plan on attending that. It's kind of workshops and meeting the different legislators, I think, in order to try and push forward solutions or options on what we're going to do with our rural water. So it gives me an opportunity to express the concerns that we have in Gila County, while others can express their concerns in other counties, and those concerns differ quite a bit. The Fuels and Trails group in Pine Strawberry had a meeting. I just attended last Saturday to honor their extraordinary amount of volunteer hours, over 5,000 hours. They have put in miles and miles of trails, new trails, repairing of trails, and it's just vital for a number of reasons. It's vital for wildlife, recreation, firefighting access, and the economy. It brings people from all over to bicycle or walk those trails. And so we're working on trying to get them a trailer right now, working with the Forest Service so that they can haul their tools around, and Joe's helping me out with that. So he will be hearing a little bit more about that in a little bit. The rally around the flags update, just a quick update. It's ongoing. The progress is on schedule. Talked with Joseph about that. It's still with engineering and architects, and we should be hearing in a couple of weeks where we are with that. Now, I've received nothing but positive feedback on it. In fact, really more than positive feedback, but just people excited about the project. So I think no matter what project we do, because I've heard both positive, negative with Pleasant Valley, or what we spend on the fairgrounds, or any of it. You know, there's always opinions out there on that. The project, though, is a small project. It's not millions. It's pretty small, and so we'll know those numbers pretty soon. We don't know those numbers yet. We're going to be trying to get a procurement done as speedily as possible, because it would be very special if we decide to go forward with this project, that it would be completed for a ceremony on the 250th anniversary of the United States. And that's coming up July 4th. Payson is considered the flag capital of Arizona. We're proud to have it in Gila County. So that's kind of just a quick, brief, very informative update. Just a reminder too, we are having our preseason fire meeting in Payson on the 18th. I believe you're planning on attending the 18th of March.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and so that's coming up, and I'm sure we'll be sending out a few reminders about that. So other than that, yes, Mr. Menlove.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. A couple of things that hadn't been brought up that I think we need to. One is that we are, as Gila County, hosting, and I'll look to the back of what dates those were, but in March, a state high school rodeo event later this month.
Yes,
And
that's very special.
March 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Okay. I believe that the association that came out, they came and looked at the facilities, looked at everything that we had done, and added an extra date, so March 13th, 14th, 15th?
Yeah.
That we will be hosting that event at our Gila County Fairgrounds. So a huge, I think, win for Gila County.
Yes.
Did also want to point out that later tomorrow through Friday, I am in the Valley for the Arizona Local Government Employee Benefit Trust meetings. I am the designated trustee for that health insurance trust. That is our health insurance. Got an email last week that said they're expecting a 17% increase in our rates for health insurance. I quickly responded that that's not tenable in any way, shape, or form, that we've got to whittle that down. So we'll spend a couple of days going over what's driving healthcare and what essential things that we have to do, but we're not going to have that large of an increase. That's it's just not something that we could deal with. But did want to make sure you're aware that we're having that board of trust, that trustee meeting this week. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very welcome. Supervisor Humphrey, did you want to make a comment about the rodeo? So it's good to have the rodeo. Very good. You done? Done? Okay. I think we're all done talking. So with that, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.